Forever in our hearts, King Charles pays a heartfelt tribute to Queen Elizabeth II on the first anniversary of her passing, as he shares a previously unreleased portrait of his mother, unseen by the public for over half a century. On the occasion of the nation commemorating the one-year anniversary of Queen Elizabeth's death, King Charles has chosen to pay a touching tribute to his beloved mother. In a remarkable departure from tradition, reflecting the depth of emotion he has felt in response to the nation's mourning and his pride in her extraordinary life of public service, His Majesty fondly remembered his mother's long life, dedicated service, and the significance she held for so many of us. Initially, at the age of 74, Charles had intended to quietly reflect upon his mother's passing and his own feelings of grief in the solitude of his home in Scotland. This would have followed a pattern established by Queen Elizabeth herself, who, for 70 years, commemorated her father King George VI's death privately at Sandringham in Norfolk, away from the public eye. However, in recent weeks, Charles had a change of heart, deeply moved by the global outpouring of grief following his mother's passing on September 8 the previous year. In fact, it has come to light that King Charles and Queen Camilla decided not to return to their home at Birk Hall on the Balmoral estate as planned, but to remain at the castle where Elizabeth had passed away at the age of 96, surrounded by the breathtaking Scottish Highlands she held dear. They will stay there today, comforted by the presence of those who were closest to Her late Majesty, spending the night before returning to their neighboring estate. A source remarked, "I think it will be comforting to be surrounded by so much that was familiar to her." Meanwhile, the Prince and Princess of Wales are set to commemorate the first anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II's passing with a small private service in Wales. William and Kate will attend St David's Cathedral in St David's, the smallest city in Britain, located in Pembrokeshire, on Friday. They will also meet with members of the local community in the adjacent cloister, including individuals who had the privilege of meeting Elizabeth II during her visits to St David's. St David's has been a place of pilgrimage and worship for over 1,400 years, tracing its history back to the arrival of St David, the patron saint of Wales, and his monastic community in the 6th century. Since the Reformation, one of the choir stalls in the cathedral has been reserved for the crown and is known as the Sovereign Stall. This makes St David's the only cathedral in the UK where the sovereign has a special stall in the choir alongside members of the chapter, the governing body of the cathedral. Elizabeth II was the first monarch to visit St David's Cathedral since the Reformation, visiting the site with her late husband, the Duke of Edinburgh, during a royal tour of Wales in August 1955 following her coronation. In his message, Charles expressed, "In marking the first anniversary of Her late Majesty's passing and my ascension, we fondly remember her long life, devoted service, and the profound impact she had on so many of us. I am deeply thankful for the love and support shown to my wife and myself throughout this year as we strive to serve you all." The message was signed Charles R. and accompanied by a previously unreleased portrait selected by the King. The photograph, taken on October 16, 1968, at Buckingham Palace, was part of an official sitting with the renowned Cecil Beaton, the last session he had with Her late Majesty before his passing. Although it was displayed at the National Portrait Gallery the following month, it had not been publicly released until now. The King chose this photograph due to the charming and slightly mischievous expression in his mother's eyes when she was 42 at the time. This heartfelt tribute was echoed by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who said, "On this solemn anniversary of the passing of Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, our thoughts are with His Majesty King Charles II and the entire royal family. As we reflect on the past year, the magnitude of Her late Majesty's service seems even more significant. Her dedication to the nations of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth appears even deeper. Our gratitude for her extraordinary life of duty and devotion continues to grow. I cherish my memories of the times I had the privilege to meet Her late Majesty, particularly the private audience I had with her at Buckingham Palace before presenting my first budget as Chancellor. I was struck by her wisdom, her incredible warmth, grace, and her sharp wit, and many people shared similar sentiments when they remembered the profound impact she had on everyone she encountered. People all across the UK, whether they had the privilege of meeting Her late Majesty or not, are taking a moment today to contemplate what she meant to them and the inspiring example she set for all of us. We will hold those cherished memories close, he expressed. The sacred connection between the country and its monarch endures, even as we grieve the passing of Her late Majesty. We should take pride in the remarkable legacy of service she leaves behind, and in the enduring bond that continues to strengthen under the reign of His Majesty the King, he continued. Sir Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, commented on the long lines of people who queued through the night to pay their respects to the late Queen as she lay in state, highlighting the special bond she always had with her people. It was a relationship forged on her deep understanding that service to this great nation is the unifying thread that binds sovereign and subject, he remarked. So, as we reflect on her legacy today, let us embrace that spirit of public service as our guiding light towards a better future. Liz Truss, the last Prime Minister to serve during her reign, shared her experience of meeting the Queen for the final time, recalling their last encounter. She described how the frail but upbeat and mentally alert monarch had reassured her that they would meet again soon when she was appointed as Prime Minister during a visit to Balmoral on September 6. She was very keen to reassure me that we'd be meeting again soon. It was very important to her, Ms. Truss told GB News. She was very determined to do her duty right to the end. The Queen passed away 2 days later, and Ms. Truss vividly recounted the somber moment when the confirmation of her passing reached Downing Street. We were in the Downing Street flat with officials and other people, so when the news came through, it was sort of confirming all the worst fears that we'd had, she said. She also mentioned that when she spoke to the new king on the phone to offer her condolences on the day his mother passed away and his reign began, he was very resolute. Today, soldiers and horses that participated in the state funeral procession and the proclamation salutes marking the new reign will return to perform Accession Day anniversary gun salutes in honor of the king. Captain Amy Cooper, the lead rider in the procession that carried the Queen's coffin to lie in state in Westminster Hall, will give the order for a 41-gun salute at noon in London's Hyde Park. The King's troop, almost all of whom played a role in bidding farewell to the Queen a year ago, will participate. Additionally, a 62-gun salute will be fired at the Tower of London by the Honourable Artillery Company, and bells will ring at Westminster Abbey at 1 p.m. to commemorate the King's accession. The Prince and Princess of Wales will be at David's Cathedral in Wales, where they will pay tribute to the life of Queen Elizabeth and engage with members of the community she met during her visits to the city. A source emphasized that it was important for William and Kate to be in Wales to honor their new titles and to acknowledge the strong bond that the late monarch had with the Welsh nation. Regarding King Charles and Queen Camilla, a source mentioned that they would strike a balance between reflecting on the public significance of the moment and finding private space for personal reflection. Dear friend, if you like everything new about the royal family and don't want to miss all the novelties, subscribe to our channel and like it. By doing so, you take part in our development. We work for you.